like this. Oh, we're live right now.
Live?
Yeah, dude.
It's live lean in. It's still leadership lean in. Oh, somebody.
Is that actually a thing?
That's actually a thing. Chad Beach is Chad Beach and the leadership lean in. So
Why is that
Chad,
terrible?
coming for you.
You talk. I'm gonna get some light.
It's going to get lighting. I'm just going to sit here with my jacket on and my wait. It's his jacket and my Adidas sweatshirt because Blake, the excellent communicator that he usually is, did not let me know that this was going to be a business cash affair.
Like that? You got lighting.
Nice lighting.
I don't know if it'll die on us, but it'll be all lit up at least.
Lighting's decent. There we go. Got some good lighting now. Blake, sit down. You're much prettier than me.
That's good lighting.
How pretty is Blake? I don't understand. If I was
That's it.
into men, I would try to date.
We got one person watching already. Look at
What's
that.
one person?
Maybe we're watching this. All right. So
Shout out to one person.
first time going live on YouTube,
First time live.
and you're gonna
Sit like this.
Well, I think that's a great thing. So when you're having conversations with people at work, how do you maintain that unawkward space? Like when do you know to close space versus like this right here? It feels uncomfortably close because your legs are open and you're pinching my thigh with your knees.
Yeah. Man spread's happening. It's good. It's good.
Well, and the dog. So
And the dog.
you guys can't see. We've got Chaba here. He's
Chaba.
He's in people's crotches. So we just turn her face.
Not to be confused with Chaba Rock and
Chaba dog.
Chaba Rocks.
So how do you maintain the space where it's like, when is it appropriate to close space versus keep a long distance? Like, how do you manage that?
That's a great question. I think the best way to manage is feel, man. People just don't have any feel for close. You close space when you're wanting to be intimidating. Me, I'm wanting to be intimidating, or I'm wanting to appear aggressive. Then I'm going to close space. I'm going to get closer to you because I'm trying to get in your face. So that's where the comment, or the phrase "in your face" comes from.
Yeah.
Think about it. When I get in your face, I'm in your face.
So what if you're working with somebody and they're a close talker,
It's unnerving.
right? But if that's how they're comfortable, do you go backwards and like create that space? Or do you just like sit in it? If you're like getting in like that, like it already feels a little awkward, do you just own the awkwardness and you're like, all right, let's go there?
Man, you think about it, it kind of depends to me on the emotional intelligence of the person you're dealing with.
Okay.
If you know that the person is not mature or self-aware, then it would be, if you step back from them, that's going to cut off the communication.
Yeah.
Because their first thought, they're going to lose their train of thought and be like, why is this person step back from me? Because they're not self-aware enough to know, hey man, I'm probably too close to you. So
like, because we've worked with a lot of engineers in the past, and engineers are those folks that are just not good at the social cues, man. They'll be like right up on you, or they'll be like inappropriate touching, and it's not even on purpose. It's just weird. Do you acknowledge it? Do you really try and move out of it, or are you just like, if that's where this person is comfortable, do you meet them there? Is that an okay thing to do?
it is. It is. It's just weird. You just gotta you gotta be self-aware enough to go, you know what, this person needs it to communicate. Now, if it's a daily interaction, I'm going to coach them. And I don't know what that looks like right now, but I would coach them. I'd be like, look, bro, look, I've told people before, you know, leadership, one of my things I like to say now is leadership is 80% hard conversations.
Okay. Is that a hard conversation?
Yes. Yes. Bro, you're in my face and your breath smells like coffee and bananas. Like you're breaking down communication. What they don't realize is if you don't have somebody that's cool enough, self-aware enough to have this conversation with you, you don't know how many conversations how much communication you're breaking down throughout the day. Because all people are thinking, I promise you, if I'm talking to you, I don't care what we're talking about.
I'm like pulling away.
If I'm this close to you and we're having a conversation,
yeah,
you're not thinking about the message that's being communicated. You're not. All you're thinking about is, dude, why are you so freaking close to me? So I could be telling you the meaning of life from right here, but you can't hear me because all you're thinking about is, dude, your breath smells like coffee and bananas.
let's
Sell tequila.
let's walk it back. So do you address it in the moment or do you circle back later? Like, would I come to you and I'm gonna do the thing I hate to do? I'm gonna stack some questions. So I'm gonna come and say, so like, hey Drew, we had a conversation earlier. You were like really close. It was hard for me to pay attention to what we're talking about. Like, is that how you do that? Or is it something you address in the moment? Be like, hey, whoa, let's take a pause. You need to go back. And does that shut you? Go ahead.
That. So not the second one, the first one.
First one?
Yep.
Pause them or circle back?
Circle back.
Okay.
Circle back. Because they have a message they're trying to communicate. So if you shut them down, it goes back to self-awareness. If they're not, well, their self-awareness has got to be off anyway.
Yeah.
If they're so close to you. So I circle back and I frame it, not that it affects me specifically, but it's, hey man, I think the closeness, the proximity of our interaction could be affecting, or the proximity you have to interaction could be affecting people's.
So the comment was, is this a conversation about having a conversation? Yes, that is exactly what this is.
Yes.
So what if it's
Which people suck at, by the way.
What if it is a female? So you're flipping that gender role. Does a female, because you just said they should circle back, but I would imagine it gets a little bit weird when you have the opposite genders coming in. So how would you coach that? Is it in the moment being like, whoa? Because then you're starting to get into like HR space and it gets kind of weird.
So who's the close talker, the female or you?
Let's start with the obvious one where you have not me, but the male close talking to the female. How does that get addressed?
I think the female would address it in the moment.
Okay.
If not, I mean, you're looking at a possible HR violation here. And the problem is that a lot of time, look, men were stupid. We're dumb. We don't realize some of this stuff. But to females, I think that would be, it's kind of the creepy dude role. Like, why are you in my face, creepy dude?
Yeah.
And I think the female almost has to shut it down at the moment, which could be uncomfortable, which is going to be uncomfortable, depending on
What's the graceful way to shut that down? Like, is it a timeout? Be like, look, I need you to stop. Especially so, because I've seen these happen in a meeting where you'd have an engineer get close to the female and kind of just like scoots back, and then what happens? They're just like following, right? And engineers go, no, stop, time out.
Yeah.
We're gonna draw a line. And I think you can inject a little bit of humor into that, and you can make it funny, but it can come across as like intense too, you know, if you handle that the wrong way.
Wait, let's just be real. Let's think about the time frame that we're living in currently. Do we ever have to worry about this again? Because are people's paradigm shifting to the fact that social distance has now become such a normal thing?
So 6 feet.
6 feet. Everybody's 6 feet.
So as you're closing in, you have 5 feet. You're like, stay back.
Yeah.
I don't want your COVIDness. Yeah, I guess that is a good point. Do you think that's going to change how people interact when they do come back? So fast forward 5 years. 5 years is, whatever. You have a vaccine in place. People are working from home, but then you're starting to have meetings and groupings and coming together. How do people start to interact in that way? Do you still have the close talkers? Or have we built in enough of a paradigm shift that you keep that space better?
I think after 5 years, it starts to go back to how it was. I think for the first 2 or 3 years, it's going to be this shift has been so radical and so scary for a lot of people that it'll stick for a while. But the vaccine developed, and this is not happening again. I don't know, man. This is one of the hardest times that of course, we've lived in. But I think this is one of the hardest times.
I don't know if I've had any other lives yet.
Well, yeah. Is this life even real? No.
Who knows?
It's a whole other conversation.
It's just
about a conversation.
It's all a paradox.
I don't know. That's a great thought.
So what does leadership look like on Zoom meetings? The bullshit of life. How do you become an effective leader from a distance?
You can't.
But people do. People manage online teams all the time. Manage, not lead. How do you lead an online team effectively?
I mean, it'd be a lot of Zoom meetings. That's what it would be.
Why? Why would you need a lot of Zoom meetings? You set the expectation. You hold people accountable to that expectation. But when they don't meet that, you got to provide some type of discipline. What is the value of having that face-to-face interaction within leadership?
I think you miss stuff on Zoom. You do. You miss stuff when it's video to video. You miss body language. You miss certain nonverbals. You miss stuff. And it's hard to really understand where a person's at if you're missing things. So the whole reason I'm thinking that it's important to be in the same room with somebody when you're trying to develop, it goes back to developing relationships. So as a leader, I need to develop relationships with the people that I work with.
I gotta write this down. It's good stuff. Keep talking.
So it goes back to the relational mindset. And it's hard for me to develop a relationship with you via video. I mean, I heard an interesting study early on in the whole pandemic timeline, and it talked about there was a study that was done that said now
I can hear you. You don't have to yell.
we're
I'm like
getting
right here.
more into we're getting more real with people because I could see your house. So that made the interactions more personable to an extent. So it's kind of weird to me to think like that. But then it went away from that thinking, and the thinking has then now shifted to people need to be in proximity to each other.
But you can't be in proximity. Now, I think that's kind of I think it's a much bigger topic to talk about relationship building in a virtual space.
Yeah.
So how do you build the foundation of a good relationship? What is that? It's trust. I mean, I would say that's probably the biggest foundation. How do you build trust with somebody you've never seen before?
I heard it said recently, and this has really stuck with me, and I've been reflecting on this statement quite a bit, and I think it speaks to the topic that we're discussing is trust is built from intimacy.
How do you get
Right.
how you get intimate online? Like, is it your OnlyFans? So
No.
check out my OnlyFans.
No.
Maybe we can build some trust.
I
At
know,
about
you
$7 a month.
As soon as you go intimacy, that always freaks people out. Like, what does that mean? So I got to get intimate? I mean, we got to have wine and dinner together and look in each other's eyes and get close talker to each other?
Well, you wouldn't even do that in person. But what does a non-sexual, intimate online relationship look like?
It's a great question. If we could
There's a
figure
lot of
that out.
caveats in there with how that gets built out.
So
I don't know, man. That's a weird one. I've never even thought about that. Just like the whole world gets so weird when you take the framework that we're in. I don't know.
It's hard to even to break down the term intimate without it taking on, physical, sexual connotations almost, but it's not.
So what? Intimate is just a supreme understanding of how somebody approaches things. Is that intimate? Like supreme? It's like
when I think of intimate, I think of closeness.
okay.
So closeness. It just, the paradigm gets rocked when you're thinking of how can I be intimate, close with somebody that's on a computer screen?
So emotionally close is what? Trust?
Emotionally close. Yeah. Intimacy develops
Let's
trust.
stop saying intimacy. It's emotionally close.
Emotionally
Good.
close.
Yeah, that works.
Emotionally close.
So emotionally close. But how do you build something like that so that builds out through trust?
Yeah.
And how do you develop trust online? Is trust all credibility? So you generate a ton of content, and then based on that content, people are like, okay. Then they start to do micro interactions with you.
Yeah.
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 Give me some more on
Yes.
that. Like, what?
Yes. That. Yeah. You build trust with content because people start to relate to you. So there's the emotional closeness.
Okay. So
I can relate to you. We have the same experiences. We like the same sports team. We like the same restaurants. Do you dig Chick-fil-A? I dig Chick-fil-A. Kanye West style.
I don't know what that means. Is that like you mix
Number
Polynesian
one
sauce?
with a lemonade.
That's Kanye West style's number one with the lemonade? Just like the fried chicken sandwich? Just like very plain?
It's a song. You just gotta go with it.
That's Kanye West wrote a song about a number one with a lemonade?
Yes, you're my Chick-fil-A. Number one with a lemonade.
We're going to look those lyrics up. I'm going to look them up later. Number one is not even. It's not even the spicy one.
No, it's basic and it's easy.
They're all easy. You're at a fast food restaurant. You just tell them a number, and they're just like, okay, you
Why
can
is
have it.
Chick-fil-A chicken so good? That's what we need to focus on. I don't know why. I don't. Anyway, go ahead. So intimate,
being able to relate to them.
being able to relate.
We had a great, yeah, this is the very first time we've ever pulled up YouTube, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the comment. We have no subscribers. You're right. Nobody pays attention to us because it's the very first time. But anyways,
Very first time. But I'm with Blake. Is brilliant. Just look at the camera, Blake.
we're not,
How
no.
could you not like this guy?
Now you're going subpar. So let's talk micro interactions. How do you build out micro interactions?
Content. What do you mean by micro interactions?
So a micro interaction could be content that you generate. So I'm thinking like, I love watching Twitch. I like watching Tim the Tap Man. I like watching Nick Merckx. I see those guys interact with their audience a lot of different ways. They do it through Twitter. They do it through acknowledging the chat as they're talking through. Yeah, see? Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So they acknowledge it through Twitter. They acknowledge it through chat. They acknowledge it through the subs as they're popping up on the screen. So would you say that, I would say that I trust them. I don't know, like I would go and see some of their stuff live if they ever did something online, like in the physical space. But what do micro interactions look like in a way that are for somebody that's smaller? So somebody like, those guys have huge audiences. They've got a lot of people that are hopping in and trying to look.
So this is a micro interaction.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So like as the comments pop up, I feel like I want to speak to those because if you guys are going to take time to sit here and watch us talk, it doesn't do a whole lot of value unless we're all a part of the conversation.
So yes. So let's utilize what we currently have.
Okay.
So if this was a classroom setup, if I'm interacting with the people, and I would look at Rock and Troll RIP, and I would ask them the question: how does it make you feel to be interacted with by two dudes you have no idea who they are, you don't have any idea where we're at, but we're having a healthy conversation, as was stated, healthy conversation. How does it feel to be interacted with? How does that feel? Because that micro interaction is now creating intimacy. Because
Stop saying intimacy. It's I wouldn't even say it's emotionally close. I'd say it's a step in that
it's
direction.
a step in that direction.
So you're either moving towards something or you're moving away from something. You look like a young Ben Affleck.
Me?
Yeah.
No, that was you.
No.
That was you all day.
Yeah, Matt Damon. You're the Ben Affleck to my Matt Damon.
Negative.
But so essentially it's a classroom setup. So in a classroom, you'd go in and have a conversation with somebody. And throughout that conversation, like you're out there, you're speaking, you're building credibility, you're acknowledging different things, you're calling on folks as they're talking. And then based on that, you're building that piece, right? So in the internet space, you said you're missing out on nonverbals. You're missing out on even being able to see people. So the only things that you're essentially going to get that people are going to be providing to you are going to be the things that they're saying within the chat and acknowledging those and trying to draw more out as you are walking through your credibility conversation, whatever you're trying to build credibility around.
Yes.
I didn't even ask a question. I appreciate the acknowledgement.
Acknowledging you.
Is that an emotionally close step?
Yes.
You're walking
Yes.
closer?
Is it?
I guess.
Why would it not be?
I don't know. You could say no, and we could open that up. Nope, I disagree.
In the leadership space,
Okay.
people need three things: acceptance, affection, and affirmation. So
Did you come up with that? 3 A's?
I read a lot of stuff.
So wait, acceptance,
Acceptance,
affirmation,
affirmation,
and what else?
affection.
Affection. Okay.
And now
Is that just a leadership space or is that like everything? I would say that a child would need that for any of their relationships they're going to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot more, but you need those three things.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog needs those things. Here, John. Here. See, he's accepted. Come here. Oh,
I accept you.
you're a good boy. That is affirmation.
You're a good boy, affirmation, and you're showing him affection by petting him.
Okay. See, so animals like that. So is that universally applicable?
Yes. It has to
Why? Well, is there a situation where that wouldn't be something you would need? Maybe life or death, like somebody's running, you have a active shooter thing at work or whatever. You don't need acceptance or affirmation or affection. Let's go, right? So you don't. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I just like, where did you get that pin?
I stole it from you. You left it in your cup when you quit, and so are you good?
I can't show me the pin. I have to have a yes. Yes. Anyway, that's a whole good inning. Anyway, affection, affirmation, and acceptance.
Okay.
So that would, I don't know, not an active shooter space.
So and more money. You need more money. Well,
Yes.
that's a good concept of thinking about it.
Leaders need more money.
No, I think it's just a general comment.
Okay.
I accept it.
I accept it.
We affirmed it.
We've affirmed that. You're affirmed.
How do we? And affection is what?
Affection.
This-
That's affection.
The eyebrows,
The
the eyebrow of affection.
Yeah, that's the eyebrow of affection. How do you do that online? How do you show people affection online?
OnlyFans. Send them a link to your
You can't
OnlyFans.
go OnlyFans.
I think that's a way some people show affection online. Is like $7. Here, check out my OnlyFans.
Do you have an OnlyFans?
I don't have an OnlyFans.
I
I think
don't know
it
if
can
it's-
only be like nudie pics. And like, I don't think there's like this OnlyFans for leaders. Be like, I think it's more like a Patreon thing.
So your OnlyFans, I can picture it already.
Well,
It goes up in it's tiered out.
like
like-
naked leadership.
They get Blake just in the jacket and shirt. Then they get Blake with jacket off. That's a higher tier.
Isn't there a thing called the Naked Leader? Is that a thing? There should be a book called The Naked Leader, and then it should have an OnlyFans.
That's a possibility.
It'd be really weird. I mean, there's a lot of different kinks out there. People like looking at feet all the time, so maybe
Yes.
they like looking at naked leaders.
Could you do a training 100% naked?
If it was at a nudist colony, I probably could.
If it was, why?
Because then it'd be normal. Everybody else is naked. It's not a weird thing when you're this one naked dude standing up front and you got a whole bunch of people that are dressed, like taking notes, taking everything that you're putting out there, and they're like, "This is great." It doesn't
Well,
matter.
okay, one of
what's
the
naked.
concepts that people talk about all the time is a great leader is what? Vulnerable. Bro, that's about as vulnerable as you can get. I'm letting it all out. I'm standing in front of you naked.
So day one, you end on vulnerability. Day two, you walk out completely naked and be like, "I'm gonna now model the way."
Yes, yes.
And we're gonna have a conversation around this.
Eyes up, everybody, eyes up.
Well, if you're standing, I guess like eyes straight ahead, eyes forward. Chavo, no, no.
You're not affirming.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to play right now. He's got his nut. He's got not gone for his run today, so he might destroy the house. Okay, so getting back here. So to build that emotional closeness, you need acceptance, affection, and affirmation.
Yep.
What do those steps look like online?
Use our current example.
Use a different example. That's too easy.
Acceptance.
Hmm.
Acceptance is I'm acknowledging you online. So it goes back to that whole
But it's not that easy, though.
yes, it is. Acceptance is real easy. Acceptance is, hey, I see you. That's it. That's acceptance.
Okay. Just by saying somebody's name.
Yeah. So the Zulus have a phrase. I don't remember the exact
Star Trek?
Zulu.
Shaka.
Zulu. No, not Hanzu. No, that's no. The Zulus and no, that's Vulcans. You're totally wrong again. They have a phrase. They don't say hello. They have a word which means I see you.
Is it hello?
It's not. It's not hello. They don't say hello. They say this other word. They say this other word, and the word means I see you. So think about that. So I'm accepting you already. Hello is like hello. But if I'm saying this and basically it means I see you, that means, oh, I acknowledge that you are who you are. I acknowledge you're there. So acceptance is acknowledgement. So I think I wish we had a better word for it.
What if you tried a nice social experiment, and for like the next week, every time you met someone, they're like, "Hi, nice to meet you." Just be like, "I see you."
No, it's well, we got to get a context.
I think that wouldn't work.
No,
I think people would be like, "You're damn right you see me. I'm right here.
That's right.
Just say hello."
because of our society and our context.
Just the norms.
Yeah.
But so is hello affirmation then? Is a simple hello an affirmation of yeah, I see you?
It's already been-
It was in the avatar. That is correct.
Yep.
I see. The Zulu thing, I think.
The Zulu thing, Avatar probably stole it.
What's the word?
If we only had some magical device.
Oh, that's not as cool. It's not as in the moment.
I don't have in the moment for that. I came up with the in the moment Zulu phrase to blow everyone's mind.
So how do you show affection online without using OnlyFans?
Without using OnlyFans. You speak appreciation.
Okay.
So, how do you show affection? Hey, man. But see, and when I'm thinking about this, it gets closer to affirmation. Then.
Right. That's why I couldn't build that bridge in my head.
Yeah, it's I can't do it either because every phrase that I'm coming up with is affirmation, and not intentionally. I'm like, hey man, I love you. I appreciate you here. Close touch.
Weird thigh touch. Weird thigh touch.
Close. I'm here for you. No, maybe I'm here for you. That's not an affirmation. Hey, I'm here for you. That means I accept you and I'm here for you. That's kind of like a pat on the back. Would that be affection? Hey, man, I'm here. I don't know, man. This is hard. It's a hard one.
So are the 3 A's applicable online? Or do you just need acceptance? If you're in a group of folks and so reassuring and praise. So I like that idea though, of maybe it is just reassuring and praise to show affection.
But his praise sounds like affirmation. When you praise somebody, you're affirming them. When you're reassuring them, you're affirming them. How do I show affection to someone online?
Through winks.
Yes. A wink.
Yeah.
An acknowledgement.
That's you're still affirming them.
I don't know. I don't think you can online. I don't think you can show people affection online. Unless you just straight up use the affection words. Hey man, I love you. Appreciate you. You're here. I love you, man.
What if affection online is just something along the lines of like, I really appreciate what Rock Control said right here, where they were talking about reassurance and praise, like saying that appreciate. I really like this right here, and then taking that concept and pulling it out so that everybody can think through that. Sorry. Now we're gonna be playing.
I don't know. It's still I can't build the bridge, like you said, like your phrase. Can't build the bridge in my head to acceptance and affirmation. What is it? Not acceptance, affirmation, affection and affirmation. You know what?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I wanna-
Put the phone down.
I want to look up.
If you were like everybody else in a meeting, you just pick your phone up and start
I
going
want-
into Google instead of just being present in the
Well,
moment.
what's funny is I usually do this in a meeting. Hey y'all, I'm looking up a definition. Affection.
And then you go to Facebook and you're like, oh, I got 3 likes.
So look at this.
Facebook is
iPhone
like an old
12,
thing.
5G is garbage.
Look, now Chad wants to play with you.
A gentle feeling of fondness or liking. A gentle feeling of fondness or liking.
So affection isn't built through like one statement. Affection is going to be built just based on how the other person feels. There are statements of affection, but affection is going to be more along the lines of like experiencing the human experience with somebody else. Oh, dude, speaking of human experience, do you ever follow Russell Brand and like his content that he's putting out?
Heard of it. I haven't followed.
Dude, he is out there, but I love like how that guy's take on life and just the whole essence of like how he is interacting and building his following. And it's not even just like anything wild. He's just like really listening, and you build this affection for somebody you could possibly never know. There we go. Have you ever had affection for someone you never met, never knew, non-sexual affection like
Yes.
that affected you?
Yes.
I don't care. I just want to know. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. Who was it? Oh, thank you. The dog is a Vizsla. It's like a Hungarian pointer.
An affection to somebody I never met or knew.
Mhm.
Trying to think of somebody when I see their posts, I have that feeling. When I see their Instagram, I'm like, oh. Nothing's coming to mind right this second.
Okay, you just
But I
said
know-
yes, though. You
but I
said
know
yes
I
and
have.
like no.
Because I'm picturing,
were you sad when Elvis died? Are you that old?
I don't know, that old nerd.
I don't know. Maybe a lot of fine ointments and pickling. I don't know.
Find ornaments.
Like a lot of smearing on the skin, stuff like that.
I'm trying to think of somebody. So I could say Jesus, but I know him. But I don't know.
You're not getting religious. You can't go religious. Like non-religious.
That's what I'm trying to think. Somebody non-religious. I have an affection. This is gonna sound weird. I have an affection for The Rock. I don't know what you're doing.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
Dwayne?
Dwayne Johnson. Why do I have an affection for him? Because I believe he's doing good stuff for people.
And he's a beautiful man.
He's a beautiful man.
I hope I look that good in my 50s.
Is he 50?
He's 50 something.
He cannot be.
Oh, yeah.
He's not 50 yet.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's 40. He's late 40s.
No. You're just mad because y'all are close in age. Cool. He's got you beat.
He does have a movie, and he has more followers than anybody on the planet, I think. But he's doing a lot of good for people. So I'm trying to think of the people that are doing good that I've developed an affection for. Like anytime they post something, I want to read it, or I want to find out about it. Or anytime they're on Twitter, trending on Twitter, that I'm always looking at the story. Nothing comes to mind right this second.
Ariana Grande. No?
Maybe
Okay.
maybe for you. I don't know. I'm not
What about that woman that sang the WAP song?
Lauren Hill?
No, not doo wop. W-A-P.
W.A. I don't know. What
You
is
haven't
it?
heard that song?
No.
Don't listen to it. You're not gonna like it.
No.
It's gonna be like, I think it's not in your genre of music.
No.
And the content I don't think would be you wouldn't connect with that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a pause because we can go for 30 minutes and I'm hungry. I'm gonna grab me a beer. So we'll come back. Rock and Troll, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is you popped our cherry. You're the first subscriber, first watcher, first
Which means you showed
interactor.
us affection.
That was great affection.
Great affection.
It was good for me. I hope it was good for you. See ya. Thank you so much.